Welcome to Saving America. This is your host, Dr. David D. Schein, and our series of interviews for Saving America establishes that the world is full of interesting people. Saving America welcomes Ken Peterson. He has more than 30 years of experience developing and implementing enterprise risk management and human resource consulting solutions. Peterson founded Churchill and Harriman, C&H, in 1986. Since 1997, C&H has developed and implemented enterprise risk management and third-party risk management solutions for large enterprises. C&H helps clients select and implement controls, processes, and tools that identify, measure, and manage enterprise risk. Under Peterson's leadership, C&H advises clients on enterprise risk strategy in healthcare and financial services, as well as helping government agencies improve critical infrastructure. C&H also serves Fortune 100 clients in healthcare, defense, entertainment, finance, insurance, life sciences, manufacturing, mobile commerce, technology, and transportation. C&H is an assessment firm member of the Shared Assessments Program. Peterson is an active leader in the international standards community. C&H earned the distinction of being the first approved ISO 27001 and ISO 22301 associate consultancy by a leading global registrar. We welcome Ken Peterson for his first appearance on Saving America.
Thank you, Dave.
Just like I said, sometimes I have to cut these bios a little bit so we'll have time to ask the questions and all that. But what a great background, and it's our pleasure to have you here. Our first, as you know, we ask our guests 3 questions. Explain to our audience why firms need to identify, measure, and manage enterprise cybersecurity risk.
Well, there are a number of very formal reasons in answering that questions, Dave. Number one, industry and government require that firms identify, measure, and manage their risks now. It's simply a matter of the depth and breadth that an individual industry or a public entity has to do so. And increasingly, organizations at the board level are required through public filings and through their investor relations functions to produce the outputs of the identification, the mitigation, and the listing of those formal risks when they go through these annual processes. So there's a very formal reason for doing so. Another reason for doing so, Dave, is that particularly at a time like this when budgets are tighter, is that you want to prioritize those risks so that if you only have a certain budget to attack these risks in a given year, you want to attack them from what we have identified as your chief risk, and then work your way down that list as far as you can.
Wow, so it's certainly something we hear so much about cybersecurity today, and so many different aspects to it. And our second question, what are the biggest cybersecurity risks that you see for your clients as we charge through the 2020s?
I think right now, Dave, we're in an interesting time for 2 chief reasons. Number one is the increased use of artificial intelligence, depending upon the organization, whether they're a commercial enterprise or a public enterprise, such as a federal or a state agency. Everyone is looking to leverage artificial intelligence. And again, depending upon the industry that you're in, or whether you're a federal agency or a state agency or a local agency, there's going to be rules and regulations that you have to adhere to formally if you choose to use artificial intelligence. So that's the primary reason. Another reason for this, Dave, is that because we've practiced now at an international level with the most discreet clientele in the world in financial services, healthcare, other industries, and for public entities, every great once in a while, the stars get aligned and there's a confluence of burgeoning compliance requirements that are put upon industry or are put upon a public entity at the federal, state, or local level. This is one of those times. So rather than work your way through these risk assessment criterias or these risk management frameworks, you need a formal advisory partner like we are to help you optimize your resources as you attack those, because each one of those is going to have a different standard of care and is going to have different requirements that are put upon you that you're going to have to adhere to in order to satisfy those individual requirements. So it's really twofold right now. So it's a particularly interesting time, Dave.
And now, just to clarify one point, you mentioned the significance of artificial intelligence. Does that make the job of cybersecurity more difficult? And if so, what's happening there?
It does, Dave. We have across industry and to some degree in public entities, as I've just referenced, elements of artificial intelligence has been used for more than a decade. Some of the viewers might be familiar with the phrase continuous monitoring. Well, in the cybersecurity world, continuous monitoring often utilizes elements of artificial intelligence and has for some time. Now we're at a point where in different elements of cybersecurity, whether it's a deepening of the use of AI in continuous monitoring or in other elements of cybersecurity, the use of artificial intelligence is on the rise. And so there are institutions that are already, and I know this because we are working with clients now that are in this category of critical infrastructure. Organizations are looking at frameworks such as the NIST artificial intelligence framework or the ISO International Standards Organization artificial intelligence standard, in order so that they can produce artifacts that are leveraged within their environment to produce artifacts that are then shared twofold, Dave, with their internal users, whether it be investor relations or compliance or their legal community, and simultaneously use with their external stakeholders, such as their customers, their prospect customers, or their regulators. So there's a huge opportunity to develop a proper strategy based on these accepted new burgeoning AI frameworks and standards that we can apply for a client to help them satisfy any such requirements. And we're doing that today.
Fascinating stuff. And our third question today is, CNH has an impressive list of clients in many major industries. For our younger consultants hoping to follow in your footsteps, what do you recommend as an approach? How do you get rolling, and what should they be doing?
Well, the work that we do in the risk assessment discipline, Dave, is normally categorized today under what's termed governance, risk, and compliance. you'll often see the acronym GRC. So if someone was interested in moving into risk assessments, they would normally find those opportunities listed in the public domain under GRC, right? And normally, the way that either private industry or a state or local or federal agency executes risk assessments is as part of a team. So normally a junior person would work in a role that they're found to be comfortable with, and then once they prove that they can formally execute all those responsibilities, like in most other disciplines, Dave, you move up in the ranks and your responsibilities are expanded upon. So that's the typical path in. I will tell you that from my own experience, Dave, what attracted me to the risk assessment world, and I hope my enthusiasm comes across, is that there's a level of rigor and there's a level of execution and the dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's. You have to be very precise in this discipline to produce the requirements and the outputs that we do, that are depended on by organizations like the Department of Homeland Security or a federal agency like Health and Human Services or the EU. These are some of the organizations that depend on outputs that either we directly contribute to or we produce firsthand. That's what's exciting about this discipline, sir.
Fantastic. And Ken, obviously we just touched the tip of the iceberg here. How can our audience get more information about you and your firm?
Well, they can look up Churchill and Harriman. Our website is C for cat, H for Harry, U for United, S for States.com. There's a lot of information on our website, and we also including elements of risk assessment. For example, we recently did a webinar for the automotive ISAC, which really gets into some deep risk assessments that we've done for private industry and for government. So I would point people directly either to social media or to our website, Dave.
Very great stuff. And again, we really appreciate your being here today. This is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America. Thanks for joining us, and please subscribe on your favorite platform.